Camarena,
Present.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Mallett,
Present.
Mayor Carter.
Present.
Have a quorum.
Could you please stand for the invocation? Councilmember Camarena, would you lead us in the invocation, please?
Father God, we stand before you today asking for your wisdom and your direction to lead our city. We pray for the city, Lord God, its finances, for employment, Lord, that you give us guidance and wisdom in Jesus' name.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing. Councilmember Crenshaw, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
My pleasure. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Attorney, do we have any report out from closed session?
No, ma'am, there's no report from closed session.
The City Council welcomes your input at this time. Members of the public may address the City Council on any matter not listed on the posted agenda. Pursuant to the Brown Act, no action will be taken on any issue brought forth under public comments. We ask that you please complete a speaker slip and submit it to the city clerk prior to the start of the meeting. Although you are not required, identify yourself. This information on the speaker slip assists the mayor that all persons wishing to address the council are recognized and also assist the city clerk in preparing the city council meeting minutes. Unless the mayor extends the time, there is a 3-minute time limit for each public presentation. Any information provided on the speaker slip is voluntary and will be public records. We have Pete Rodriguez.
Good evening, members of the City Council. My name is Pete Rodriguez. I'd like to thank City Manager Sawyer and Mr. Abraham Campos, Public Works Director, for your statement on wastewater. I think it's the right move to make. This issue with the data center has a lot of holes. And today is the County Board of Supervisors meeting. I did call out Supervisor Kelly, who is related to Tim Kelly. Is a conflict of interest when two relatives are eyeing the same project. I don't have to really lecture the council on conflicts of interest. I believe you guys are educated enough to figure out the difference. I don't want you to go in the direction of a lawsuit to defend the city of El Centro. Unfortunately, the city of Imperial was forced to do what they have to do to protect their citizens, but I don't want you to go down that road. I did inquire if this developer did show them the money. As any developer who does homes, does it real business, as you would know, Mr. Sawyer, they do put a deposit and they pay their fees up front and all that. This guy hasn't. So there's a lot of red flags. The Desert Review is running an ad, a paid ad. There's a lot of false information about it. You guys, unfortunately, are listed. I know the information is false. It's unfortunate you're listed in that advertisement. I think it's wrong. And you guys, your name, City of El Centro, should not be included in their paid advertisement. Now, I'm giving you this information for free because I don't want you being directed. You have to go in the direction of a lawsuit. I would prefer you guys follow direction, work as a team, and maybe stay on the sidelines. It's a better course of action. There are other development projects that I'm sure you guys are working on that are up front and not have a lot of red flags. I would like to see a Sam's Club up to give you a hint, but that's up to the developer to come to you guys. But as you know, I trust the guidance of our city manager and staff and yourselves to go forward in the right direction and to avoid any possible litigation with a developer that is being real pushy. Too fast, too quick. On Thursday, I invite you to the Planning Commission at 9 o'clock because the data center project, it's lots of red flags on it. You can read the agenda on your own time. but invite everyone here to attend the meeting and stand up for what's right for our county. Thank you.
Thank you. Daniel Lee?
Mayor, he was not going to speak. It's just for, so you can have a public speaking note. That's it.
Thank you. Bill Caldwell?
Good afternoon, everybody. Just wanted to come in real quick. I hate to take a lot of your time. I know how busy y'all are. But I wanted to bring up the Sixth Street vendor program that we've been doing. I wanted to really thank the city employees for working so hard. They've done an outstanding job on making this thing happen to the point we need to double the size. And as we go forward, that's just awesome. So from Adriana to Gustavo, Lisa, everybody who works down in Parks and Recreation Board, all the way up to you guys, thank you very much for the support. It makes a big deal to businesses downtown. Some of the businesses quadrupled their sales on that night, which was awesome to hear. I also want to thank the police department. They have been taking care of the vagrants that have been downtown. We're seeing a lot of movement down there. We're seeing a lot of officers. So I thank you all for that. I know it's easy to come up here and tell you what you're doing wrong, but I want to tell you we're headed in the right direction. Thank you to the council members who have made it down to the market. I hope to see everyone there soon. And thank you for everything you've done so far and look forward to the future.
Thank you. Okay, now we move on to the reorganization part. Do we have a motion for mayor or a motion for?
Madam Mayor, I open the nominations for mayor. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. At this time, I'm opening and accepting nominations for mayor. I need a motion and I need a second for that, please.
I would motion that we postpone the organization meeting.
Do we have a second for that? Okay, so this nomination for mayor has been postponed.
Not a vote? Point,
Number 1 and number 2. Yes, both organization items.
Okay, at this time, we will pause until 6 p.m. till our meeting starts. Thank you.
Go forward to item number 3.
football team's outside.
They're outside. Hi, Bill.
Oh, wow, they brought the bell. It's heavy.
Well, I was a bus for 2 years. Yeah. Professional.
From this side. I think everybody's in now. We would like to thank you guys for coming out tonight. We are happy to honor you. We are going to present certificates of recognition. And the way it's going to start is the city clerk is over there. She can wave her hand. She's going to read your name. You'll go that way, get your certificate. You'll come this way. And if you would just shake each one of our hands, and then you could go around this way. At the end, after we finish everybody's name, then we will gather for a picture up here in front with the city council. Is that okay with everybody? All righty.
Start. The first person is Alec Hernandez. You can proceed this way, Alec, to shake their hands. Next person is Junior Camarena. Angel Vasquez. Emiliano Morales. Luis Jimenez. Matthew Laciola. Christopher Alvarez. Joshua Garcia. Jesús Chuy Ceseña. Jacob Viesca. Francisco Javi Teruel. Rohan Núñez. Jesse James. Anthony Hernandez. Brian Gonzalez. Hector Lino. Daniel Lara. Santiago Valdez. TJ Acosta. Christopher Avelar. Armani Robledo. Abraham Niebla. Malaki Rodriguez. Jacob Thomas. Aben Mascareñas. Isaac Alvarado. Justin Gonzalez. Aiden Gerardo. Francisco Muñoz. Dominic Torres. Samuel Lopez. Noah Gerardo Flores. Benny Lopez. Ryan Smith. Fernando Bolanos. Aaron Moreno. Richard Vega. Eric Morales. Francisco Lara. Sebastian Alejandre. Joseph Aispuro. Carlos Lara. Asaí Aguirre. Matthew Gibson. Lucas Murillo. Marco Viramontes. Asen Nava. Oscar Gallegos. Alexander Garcia. Ernesto Corona. Darren Reyes. Isaac Garcia. Guadalupe Martinez, Juan Flores, Andre Cabrera, Luis Carlos Andrade, Nicolás Valadez, Anthony Rodriguez, Sergio Perez, Jaden Garcia. And now the head coaches, David Ruki Peña, okay, assistant coach Joseph Denton, assistant coach Brian Martin, assistant coach Danny Alarcón, assistant coach Sean Colby, assistant coach Fletcher Mavity, assistant coach Anthony Lycos, assistant coach Benny Carter Martin, assistant coach Kevin Lawrence, assistant coach Mike Reyes, assistant coach Michael Sullivan, manager Casabel Urbina, manager Analea Martinez, manager Brianna Cervantes, principal Craig Lyon, athletic director Gabriel Ponce. Sebastian Padilla, and we're done.
Thank you. We would like to hear that bell. This is the reason why we're here, because Central brought the bell back home. Now, if Emilio could come out and form us for a picture, we want everybody up here in front, please. He said the sun will have to come behind us, Mario. He did state that. Yeah, we can get him to say
Oh my gosh.
No, we're trying to. Attention. The Grinch is here, so that way you can take a picture with him as well. So don't leave outside. He wants to take a picture with you guys outside. If you want one individually, you could do that. But unfortunately, we have to proceed with our meeting. So the coach will be out there, Grinch will be out there, but Grinch is going to take a picture with us first, and then he's coming out to have pictures with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for all you do.
Yes, yes. Hey, how are you? That's right.
Hi, how are you?
Love it. If you could give us 1 second, please, because Grinch is going to take a picture with us.
Oh.
Here he is.
Yeah.
We're going to get a quick, sir. Here we go. Before we proceed with this council meeting, very important. There's a lot of stuff going on in Whoville too, so. Together.
Congratulations on your son. Sounds good.
We should do like a little crazy one. You guys
You
should
want
be
to do
so
a crazy
serious.
face?
Yeah, like, oh, well, give me some energy. All right,
Oh, you want us to
one,
point? Okay,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Grinch.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate everything that you do. Keep on doing nothing with that, okay?
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
I would love to say Merry Christmas, but I don't like Christmas, so.
All right. Well, happy holidays.
I don't know. I accidentally went like this to my screen, but how do I get rid of it? Yeah.
Bye-bye.
I did and I can't get it to.
Yeah. You can't get rid of it.
I accidentally swiped it.
All right, Coach, if you would like to have a couple of words, we would greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, first of all, it's an honor and privilege to represent the city of El Centro. We live in such a great community. My words cannot express, my thankfulness of you guys as we left on our way up to San Diego for Centro game. I know I saw a lot of you guys there. We appreciate our city council. We appreciate our El Centro Police Department and El Centro Fire Department. El Centro is a very special place. It's a very special community. And again, it's an honor just to be a part of it. And I thank you guys for everything you guys do for our youth. I know our police department, our fire department are very involved. You guys are very involved with our youth. And our words cannot express as far as what you guys do for us and what you guys do for our youth as they go up through the city of El Centro. Also, a lot of these guys will come back and return and be police officers. Come back and work for the fire department. And somebody come back and be some capacity within our city. And to us, that's a tribute to you guys. That's a tribute to how you guys are public servants. That's a tribute to our police department, our fire department, on how they represent us, and then how our kids grow up wanting to be them. So thank you guys for everything you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's heavy, yeah. Bye-bye, thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we move on to the consent agenda items. May I have a motion and a second to adopt consent items 4 to 17, please?
So I motion to approve the consent agenda items 4 through, it's 15, 16, 17, 4
I
through
second.
17.
I'll second.
Councilmember Camarena, we still need your vote.
It's frozen.
Oh, it's frozen? I'll go ahead and put it on there. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Now we move on to our public hearing to consider the decision of Planning Commission denying zone variance number 2501 for the 6-foot-high wall at the northwest corner of 2779 West Main Street. This is a public hearing, and this will be presented by Angel Hernandez.
Hi, good evening, members of the City Council, those in attendance and members of the public. The item before you is a public hearing to go over the zoning variance 2501. This is applicable to 2779 West Main Street. The project is proposing to install a 6-foot high masonry wall with wrought iron paneling at the northwest corner of the property at 2779 West Main Street. On the screen is a aerial view kind of showing you the project site, and specifically the corner question is that northwestern corner where the yellow arrow is pointing to. This corner and the western side of the property is adjacent to a utility easement that is accessible to some of the property owners on Santa Rosa Drive. So what's being proposed is not a solid block wall, but a combination wrought iron / block wall, some diagrams, some renderings on the top side of the screen. So it wouldn't be completely blocking visibility. So I note that. The other item on this slide I want to show you is the site plan. So the Planning Commission did approve the variance to put the 6-foot high block wall along Main Street. What wasn't approved was that corner cutback, which is can you see that triangular shaped area in red right there? So if the variance if the variance is approved, it will allow the applicant to install the block wall / iron wall along the property line. If it's denied, he would have to install that corner cutback right there. So here's some photographs of the area. The photo on the left-hand side is looking along Main Street. Main Street is along the left-hand side, and to the right would be the easement. The photo to the right of that is looking south, and you can see this dirt gravel pathway. That's an easement in question. So you kind of see where the footings for the block wall would be installed if the variance is approved. So we're going to corner cutback. So this is a requirement in the zoning code. It requires a corner cutback on each side of a private driveway where it intersects a street. At these areas, which is you can see that diagram to the upper right-hand corner, kind of schematic showing you what it looks like. There cannot be any visual obstructions over 3 feet in tall. Now, specifically for the project site, a 15-foot utility easement is located along the rear of the properties on the east side of Santa Rosa Drive. It's that white hash marked area. And some of the properties along Santa Rosa Drive utilize that as essentially an alleyway. It's not a public right of way. It's owned in fee by the property owners, but historically it's been used in an alleyway. I think if you drive by, you would think it's an alleyway. So some of the property owners along Santa Rosa Drive use it as such. So regarding the proposed wall, we found that the proposed variance would partially obstruct vision of drivers traveling north along this easement. They might have a hard time seeing drivers going eastbound on Main Street and also pedestrians walking along the southern edge of Main Street. The applicant, they mentioned that there's an existing space between the asphalt, the pavement of Main Street and where the wall would be. And he argues that there'd be sufficient visibility. And he also cites the infrequency of the use of that easement as arguments to allow the variance. We did have some public hearings regarding this project in the last couple of months, and we did have residents up here, and they stated concern regarding visibility of people driving north of here, especially so I mentioned visibility of pedestrians. So in order to approve a variance, the Planning Commission had to find these findings. These are in our zoning code. They're essentially the criteria for when a variance is granted. One, and all of them need to be met. One is that because of special circumstances applicable to a subject property, including the size, shape, topography, location, or surroundings, that the strict application of this chapter would deprive the subject property of privileges enjoyed by other properties in the vicinity under the identical zone classification. The second is that any variance granted shall be subject to conditions as will assure that the adjustment thereby authorized shall not constitute a grant of special privilege inconsistent with the limitations upon other properties in the vicinity and zone in which the subject property is situated. Third, that the granting of the variance would not be materially detrimental to public health, safety, convenience, or welfare, or injurious to property and improvements in the same vicinity and zone in which the subject property is situated. And finally, that the granting of such a variance would not adversely affect the general plan for the city. We did have a couple of public hearings regarding this project. One was on October 14. At that public hearing, the Plan Commission decided to allow the 6-foot high wall like this along this section of the property up to here. That was the date that there was a special city council meeting, and due to the amount of time from the presentation from staff and the applicant and some of the comments, the Plan Commission decided to kind of postpone the question regarding the corner cutback. And that was later brought before at a second public hearing on November 17. And at that public hearing, we had members of the public express concerns regarding allowing the wall to be built up to the property line. And at the last city council meeting, it was voted to reconsider this variance, and we do have public hearings scheduled for today. We did send out notices to the property owners in the area, as we did with other public hearings, and also published it in the Period Press. As of this time, staff has not received any comments or questions regarding this project for this public hearing. So the options that are available, council, is to uphold the decision of Planning Commission. If that were the case, the applicant would continue to build the wall along Main Street. Sorry, if that were to be the case, he would have to build that corner cutback, that triangular cutout, as I showed you in previous slides. The second option available, council, is to modify the decision of the Planning Commission to grant the variance, essentially. With that, staff recommends that the City Council open the public hearing, and after allowing input, that they vote to uphold the decision of the Planning Commission. So that concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions, and the applicant is also here in attendance to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I now open the public hearing. If there's anyone wishing to speak on this item, I do have blue slips. Raul Zamaria.
Hello, this speaks no into. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Ms. Mayor, every council
Good
members.
afternoon.
My name is Raul Zamora. I'm a resident of Santa Rosa Avenue, where the wall variance would be affecting. I did write down stuff because I do kind of tend to rant. But again, just want to say thank you guys for the opportunity to speak. On Monday morning around 8:50 a.m., I did notice, I believe Ms. Carter, you were there at the site. I appreciate you coming out to actually personally see the area. I just wanted to establish that, all of these conditions that are being set by the Planning Commission, they're not supposed to be met under the best conditions, which, nice, bright and sunny in the morning, be best conditions. They're supposed to also be met during the worst conditions, which would be nighttime, rain, which we did recently get rain, where the road conditions would be wet. Otherwise, making vehicles have to stop further along. The main point I want to go along with is that one being that the criteria that's needed, it's supposed to all simultaneously be met, 1 through 4. It's not supposed to be one or the other, all of them, in my opinion. And I believe under the Planning Commission's recommendation to deny it, they also agreed that he failed to meet all 4. And in my opinion, he also fails to meet a single criteria needed for the variance to be allowed. The second one would be that the east end of the property, which you could see along the presentation that was given, there already is a cutback that's there. It's the exact same, essentially alleyway type of driveway that the west end has. So to me, it would be a little hypocritical or kind of weird to mandate a cutback on the east end, but not the west end when the avenues are the exact same way. The only thing I can think of is that when the Planning Commission wanted to do the west end, and he agreed to it during that time frame, is because he and his family would be utilizing that side as that's what connects to his driveway versus the opposite end does not affect him whatsoever in terms of public safety or the safety of his family. So that is why he kind of doesn't care for it. The third thing being is that in his own words, he also did say that people fly by that street all the time. The posted speed limit is 35 miles per hour. And he's suggesting that people go faster, which I would agree with. People do really go past that 35-mile speed limit. If the cutback's not allowed, it does limit the visibility to that right-hand side. In other words, if I'm turning left to go towards Dunes or Superstition or San Diego, it limits my ability to judge drivers coming along the right-hand side, which I would turn into their lane. In other words, creating a higher risk or higher chance of accidents, and accidents such as those typically tend to be a lot more dangerous in that type of angle. And so I believe, honestly, it's just a matter of public safety. It's a cutback that's required for the conditions that are stated within the planning commission, within the ordinances. To have a variance would mean that there needs to be a genuine reason that the public safety essentially part is moot. And I don't believe that is there. I mean, I use that alleyway. I know other people use that alleyway. If we want to label it as a public easement so that way utility workers can go back there, I would also wish and hope that those utility workers that go back there also are safe and capable to drive back onto the road without fear of crash or the limited visibility. Thank you.
We now have Aaron Zamora.
Hello, good evening. I am Erin Zamora. I also live on Santa Rosa. So our house kind of backs up to private alleyway, utility easement, whatever you want to call it. We did have to prove that we own it before we could purchase the house. So we are told that it is our private property. I have children in that, a child in the neighborhood. We have plenty of children in that neighborhood. Right now, they're all ranging from 3 to 13. All of those children are going to be driving soon. These are our forever homes that all of our families are moving into to raise our children in El Centro in a safe environment. I recently just retired from the military. We are living on the East Coast. We chose to come to El Centro for the safety aspect and to lay roots where my husband grew up. And that's why we bought this house. We bought it for everything that came with it. We use that alleyway, public easement almost every day, as do my neighbors. A lot of us park our cars in the back of our property. A lot of us use that to access our water, our pool, anything back there. So it's not just people not using it. I know it's been said before that people aren't using it every day. We are using it every single day. I am just asking here as a mother and a member of this community to grant the cutback or require the cutback be done because it is a public safety issue. I know they stated that if he weren't to do the cutback, he wants to put wrought iron like fencing in between the posts for visibility. He has trees that are 35 feet tall. So it's great if you want to put the wrought iron there, but it's literally backed up to a tree that's 35 feet tall and thick. It's not like a maple or anything. It's the Cornelia bushes. Forgive me if it's the wrong type of tree, but it's a very thick bush. It's not a tree that is one trunk. It's a lot of branches individually. So that is a moot point. You wouldn't be able to see through it. I know in the future, my daughter will be driving that. And as you all know, with teenagers, they're not the smartest when they first start driving. They're not the most careful or anything like that. I would like to hope that the city would hold up to code and ordinance to make it safer, to require it to be safe for everybody. That's my biggest point. They did it on the other side. Once again, I think it's because that's the family using it. And so like, it does make sense. It adds to the visibility, but it's like almost like a non-care for the community. And at the end of the day, it's all about community safety, not just one individual in our city. So I appreciate your time and the ability to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. The public hearing is now closed. I bring it back to the city council for any council comments. Oh, I'm sorry. I do apologize, Mr. Jackson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Before I start, let me hand out a couple packets for you.
Thank you.
So first, let me dispel a couple things that were said earlier. In the first Plan Commission meeting back in October, the Plan Commission voted 5-2 that all four stipulations were met as far as not creating a special circumstance and such. The second Plan Commission, there was 5 members present, one of which had been just appointed and really didn't have the background of what had happened the previous month. And the decision was not based on anything other than the safety issues that were brought up. So here in front of you is, in the first packet, is, and to state earlier, or to clarify, there's 15.5 feet from the property line to the shoulder line of the road. This is a picture, the first set of pictures is a picture of my vehicle 3 feet from that shoulder line. The second picture is a picture looking out, looking left, and then the third picture is me looking right. As you can clearly see, looking left and right, 3 feet from the shoulder line, you can see all the way down to Austin with no obstruction. And even with vehicles parked down on the other side, you can probably see, I'm going to say roughly about 300 yards, 250, 300 yards down Main Street. And if those vehicles weren't there, which normally they aren't, you'd be able to see all the way to the intersection of Labrucherie. Labrucherie. The second set of photos that you have is at the 7-foot shoulder line. So this is pulling my vehicle out 7 feet between the front end of my vehicle and the shoulder line of the road. And you can see the second picture is me looking left. I can still see all the way to Austin with no obstruction. And I can see quite a ways down to the east, down towards Labrucherie. Again, even with vehicles parked on the side of the road, you can still have plenty of room to see any kind of oncoming traffic or any civilians that might be walking or riding their bike. The third packet that I have is to show that there is a fire hydrant that is right in front of that corner property or corner marker. There's 3.5 feet between the property line and the fire hydrant. Mandating a 10-foot cutback in a diagonal fashion would give about an 8.5 to 9.5 foot gap between the wall and that fire hydrant that you could actually drive a car through. It would also leave that fire hydrant with no protection. It'd be, in essence, kind of floating out in the middle of the road. As you can see from the picture, that's not an illusion. That fire hydrant is a little bit leaning, because last year somebody grazed that fire hydrant and hit it. And I had the city come out and take a look at it just to make sure it hadn't weakened the nuts or the bolts on the bottom of the fire hydrant. And they said it was okay to stay there. But on the second picture, you can see where the property line is. If you look where that center block is on the second page, right below that, you can see like a little concrete medallion. That's the property line. And you can clearly see how much room there is between that property line and where that fire hydrant is and beyond that. So from that marker, that's where 15.5 feet from there to the shoulder line of the road. So my issue is I'm not really sure where the safety issue is. It's been brought up over the last couple months, but yet those oleanders that are there have been there over 50 years. Nobody's ever brought up any kind of issues where there was a obstruction or any kind of visual obstruction for people driving in or out of there. It's really clear to me that this has really nothing to do with the oleanders or the cutback. Unfortunately, some of my neighbors on the Santa Rosa side were upset when I fenced in the backside of the property. It restricted them from pulling into my property and pulling their motorhomes or large trailers into their backyards. I did have a couple of those residents talk to me about that. In one case, I actually installed a roll gate for one of the neighbors so they could pull their motorhome through my property as a compromise to try to keep peace with my neighbors. I also gave up 20 inches of my property all the way along my property from the front or from the northern tip all the way to the southern tip to increase the size of that utility easement by 20 inches. So I've done, I think, a lot on my part to try to mitigate any kind of issues that some of the neighbors have. But again, it's a utility easement. It's really not made for people to be pulling in 40-foot trailers and travel trailers and such. And I think that's really the crux of this issue is that some of them are upset that prior to them buying their homes, the former owner of my home didn't really have any fencing back there, and so it was pretty free for you to kind of crawl, drive into the back of the area and swing way out. And then I had it surveyed and put up a fence, and I think that's what started most of this. So I'm just presenting the facts as they are. There is no safety issue. You can clearly see all the way down, and I appreciate everybody that came out and saw it for yourselves, because I think it's important that when you're standing there, you can clearly see. Pictures are great, but when you're there, you can actually see where your vehicle is and how much visual impairment you may or may not have. And I think that you probably all saw the same thing that I've seen and what I've tried to communicate in these pictures. So I would just ask that the variance be overruled and allow me to finish that corner of the wall. I think possibly Mr. Campos might speak on this issue also. He came out because of the fire hydrant issue and looked at that corner. And I'm not going to put words in his mouth. I'll let him speak for himself on that. But I think he might have something to add to this discussion. But I just don't believe that the cornering of this wall is going to do anything but actually maintain the oleanders, because the oleanders, as you might know, anybody from the valley knows, in the summertime they grow wild. They'll grow 6-8 inches in a week or two. Having that wall cornered right there is going to keep that corner nice and neat and trim, and you're going to have all that visual all the time. As opposed to right now, I tend to trim it every couple of weeks during the summer to try to keep it cut back. But that won't even be necessary once the wall is finished in that corner. It's going to have a nice clean edge. My whole thing about putting up the wall, and I'm just about finished. I've got lights coming that'll be getting installed this next week or two. It's really going to provide a secure and safe area for the whole neighborhood. If you've gone down there anytime at night, Mr. Crankshaw lives a block or so down. It's very dark in that area. It's now going to be pretty lit up, at least in my property area, which is going to span that whole area. And I think it's going to create a nice, safe area for all of our residents. So I've invested a lot of money in this wall. I've done it first class. I've got a great contractor that's done the work for us. I think it's a wall that everybody's going to be really proud of, and it's going to increase property values for everybody in the area. So I would just ask that you would reconsider and grant my variance so that I could finish that corner. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 25-91?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. If the council has any comments, I'm sorry. I'm bringing it back to the council if any council has comments. Oh, I didn't have blue slips.
Haven't received any others, ma'am.
Jason, did you have anybody else who's going to speak?
I only had 2 blue slips for,
Yeah, but it's staff.
oh, staff. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Abraham, if you have words to say.
Hi, good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. As mentioned, I did visit the location. I share that I don't, at this point, because of the location and the roadway, there's really no visibility issues. The wall would not make it any better or any worse than the existing condition or the condition that's been there standing for multiple years due to the oleanders. Regarding the hydrant itself, I do agree. If we move the cutout, that does create a new situation that needs to be addressed. That hydrant will need to be relocated. I don't believe just protecting it with bollards around there would be sufficient. It would help to protect it with bollards, but because you have a wider area, it'll lend itself to wider turning areas. That area is, or that easement is not a city property. It's a private utility easement. It's basically phone, power, so forth. It's not a public road. It accesses the rears of property as opposed to the east side of the property, which accesses the front doors of the properties along that one. So maybe why, I'm not saying that's the reason why one could have a cutout and the other doesn't. The one on the west side is basically the rear side of the properties on both Santa Rosa and the properties that are on the other private roadway. But in terms of the cutout, I mean, it's just it's very constant or consistent with properties of this age or property of this age. You can go down A Street or anywhere in our city, and all of the older properties have, or most of the older properties have fences that go when there's a side yard or rear yard, and alleys. When we have to actually have a city alley, they go right up to the property line. There's no cutout. We usually apply that, or we've applied that more at actual street intersections, not really at alleys before. The way that the code is written, it just says private alleys. So it's very general. Maybe that's why that interpretation, but either way, on the variance is your call. It's very consistent with other properties in that area, the way it is without the cutout. It's no different than anything in that area. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
I have a question, Abram, Angel, and Jason. So as I saw on your map, Angel, that the property line goes down the middle of the access road? Is that correct? The white line?
Yeah, so the white area is utility easement.
Those, okay, but, oh, that's the easement.
Yes, that's 15 feet. It's
Thank
the eastern 15 feet of the properties on Santa Rosa.
It is the property line, but there's an easement there. Is that correct or not correct?
The property line is basically that red line right there.
The red line?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so
All right, just wanted to know. Because I mean, sometimes there are property lines that go to the center of a, like an easement road sometimes and things like that.
Okay.
And so then it has to be some agreements with the, the utilities and things like that.
yeah.
But that's not the case.
No, in this case, the property lines.
Thank you,
on the
appreciate
property-
that. Thank you. So I do agree with with Abraham that when you're driving out of an alley in the city of El Centro, there are 5-foot fences that you can't see across until you get past the fence to the sidewalk or whatever. And then on an intersection, that's not allowed. So I would see this as the same situation. It's referred to as an alley. It's really a utilities road, but it's used as an alley. And so I don't, I'd see, and it's 15 feet, Jason, from that marker on the show. You showed us that marker on the ground.
Yes.
That's 15, that's the front of your fence is the property line?
Yes,
Okay, that's the line. And so from that marker, it's 15 feet to the shoulder?
to the shoulder line, yes.
Okay.
It's 12 feet to the beginning of the pavement, and then there's 3 feet of pavement, that's the shoulder. And so when you're driving down a road, the white line on the right-hand side is called shoulder line.
Yes,
So that's the extra 3 feet. So there's 12 feet to the pavement and then another 3
12 feet to the
shoulder.
pavement,
Yeah.
and 15 to the shoulder. Got
Yeah,
it.
there's 15 feet total between my property line and
Yeah.
the shoulder line.
Yeah.
Plenty of room to drive your car
Right.
almost all the way out, past everything.
Just
see.
like an alley.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
And something Mr. Campos said, in consistency, the utility easement behind Sunset is the same. It doesn't have a 45 cutout on either side, just straight this way.
Yeah, exactly. I caught that, just like a lot of the rest of El Centro. Yeah. And the other issue is the fire plug. That if we put it in a 45-degree cut on that fence, that fire plug's gonna standing out there in the middle of the road, in the middle of this easement. That's not good. That's not good. So I would think it would be better served to have the fence there to help, keep the fire plug safe. But I would ask, Jason, if you, I know shade is a premium, but this is way out by the highway, the street. Would you be adverse to taking out that 45 degrees worth of oleanders there so that there's a visual at least?
I'm sorry, say that again?
If there was no cutout,
Uh-huh.
a 45-degree cutout from your fence, but inside your fence, would you be amiable to like cutting out 45 degrees of the oleanders there to have a visual across there?
Well, the wall along the alley is a solid wall.
Oh.
The alley, the wall
Okay,
in the front
and it's
is the
5
one that
feet.
has the panel.
It's okay.
Yeah, so it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah, I get it. Thank you.
Mayor, I have a couple questions. if I
Yes,
may.
please.
Okay. So for this body to look at a commission and they ruled, and that's our expectation, is this is where they do their, I never want to just set that ruling aside on the side of one side of the story. So I read the resolutions for both, and I was a little bit taken that the language that was used to approve the variance is almost the same language we used to disapprove this part of it. So then I started wondering the variance itself. I know that we're a little hung up on the words utility easement versus alley. So when I looked at that 29-14311, was it specific to easements or just didn't really speak to it in general?
Yeah, it's specifically to private driveways.
Private driveways.
Yes.
Correct. So, as mentioned, I do live in that area. It was taken that, look, it's expected. We want to be as safe as possible. Those oleanders have been there forever and they pose no difference than for the last however many years they've been there. I've been in that area for 25, so I would tell you that they've been, I live where I come out of a city alley in that, and both fences are 6 foot on both sides. Now, we annexed that in because that was county when that was all built on my side. But to be able to pull out safely, I've come in and out of that alley hundreds of times safely. So I do understand the concern, but it only became a concern when it became a fence. So I guess, did we need to have a variance for that particular corner? Was that request for a variance for the whole project or just for that?
So there received 2 variances. One was for the 6-foot high wall along Main Street, except for this corner cutback. That was the one that the planning commission approved. They considered the second variance for the corner cutback on November, and that's the one they denied. So they looked at these 2 issues separately.
Okay, thank you.
Angel, I have a question regarding the 45-degree or in the first, I guess, driveway. Was that part of the, because there's one there. And could you tell me again why it wasn't done simultaneously? What's the difference?
I think the main point that the applicant proposed to put that cutout right there along at the northeast corner.
So then when we go back to this, I just want to make sure I understand this. So when you're talking about the same section, he did the 29-143. And I think I said, if you could pull it back up, please. I think I read where it says on each side of any private driveway. Is that the driveway where he's entering his home? As if the fence were to be on each side of the driveway? Because I'm interpreting that, and that's why I want a clarification. On this side, there's no driveway into the private driveway into the home. That's how I'm interpreting it.
The applicant uses the driveway on the eastern side to enter his home. Yes.
So that is 29-143 just relevant to that driveway since that's the only one he has in and out?
It's relevant to that one. It should also be relevant to the other driveway because this private easement, the one in white, is being used as a driveway by some of the residents along Santa Rosa.
So
it's not the primary driveway. The primary driveway is on Santa Rosa. This is like the rear access.
Okay. So then this is the what is it, easement utility easement is also defined as a private driveway?
Yeah, that's the, yeah, it's being, right now, people are using it as a driveway.
But legally, right now, what is it?
Hmm.
Because
Right now,
interpretation.
right now, it's private property owned by the owners of property on Santa Rosa Drive. So like their property lines go all the way to the east to the applicant's property. So it's private property. There's an easement over it for utility purposes. There's power lines there. Now, over time, people utilize that easement and as a drive, as an alleyway. People kind of mention private alleyway. It's not public alleyway, but that's over time it's been utilized as that.
So I have a, if I may, would you summarize as an alley or a private driveway? Which would you?
Just a layman, I think they would call it an alleyway.
That's
As it's being used, because the properties on Santa Rosa, they utilize Santa Rosa as their main driveway.
And then if I understand correct, every residence on Santa Rosa could fence that and give a gate, utility gate lock for all the way, but it's been an agreement for decades to leave it open for access for all.
That's correct. They could fence off from the property.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the Santa Rosa property, the west side of Jason's property, that property line goes all the way up to his fence line.
Yes.
So that easement road is on their property.
Yes, it's on the
Yeah, the Santa Rosa
eastern-
side.
Yeah, the
homeowners.
eastern 15
Okay.
feet of their property.
So are there other regulations about easements that come into play here, Angel?
No, like this easement is specifically written for utilities, particularly the power lines and things like that. That's the purpose of it, for the utility companies to have access to those.
Okay, so it's shared, utilities and homeowners. Shared.
Yeah, the property is owned by the
Traditionally shared.
homeowners, and the utilities have a right to go over the property, go with an easement to make repairs and things like that.
Yeah, so it's basically used like an alley would be. With
Yes.
the power lines in the back and things like that have go through there. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So that easement you reference is owned by the residents on Santa Rosa?
Sorry?
That easement is
Yes.
owned by the resident? Is it owned by Mr. Jackson as well?
No. No, the red around the property, that's the confines of his property.
Any other questions, colleagues? This time, may I have a motion and a
You need to
second?
close, I'm sorry, Mayor, you need to close the public hearing.
May I ask one last question? I'm sorry. Mayor, please.
Yes.
I just want to ask, so the decision by the Planning Commission is based on 29-143
Yes.
alone, just that, about the
Yes, and also honestly, the testimony of the residents that showed up at the meeting too. Yes.
Thank you.
At this time, I close the public hearing. Bring it back to the city council. If you have any other questions, this is your time, comments. Before I move on.
And what is in the ordinance? What is the height of a fence? Is it 3 to 4 feet or 3 or 4 feet? And they're asking for 6 foot.
Yes, so the ordinance
Say
within the
what?
corner cutback, it says that there cannot be any visual obstructions over 3 feet in height.
Over 3 feet.
3 feet.
Mhm.
Now,
And what's being proposed is 6 foot high.
clarification, would that be to the front of the property or the rear of the property? Because, well, I'm just saying that, from what I always gathered, it was 3 feet for solid, 4 foot, for open fences, 20 feet back off the easement for the front of the property. Would that Main Street be considered the front, or would that private driveway be considered the front?
Regarding the corner cutback, there's no distinction whether it's in the front of the property or the rear property. The staff has determined that the front yard is along Main Street because that's the only legal access that the property owner has to enter the property. He is utilizing the neighboring property's driveway as a driveway to his property. But to answer your question regarding like whether there's a distinction on that section of the code, if it's the front, rear, side setback, there's no distinction. No, it just says a private driveway.
Are you saying, Angel, that on the east side of the property involved, the red line there, that is that a street? Is that a city street or?
No, that's private property
That's
owned
private
by
property also.
another property owner in the area.
And half of that road, whatever easement, whatever, is owned by each neighbor? Do the property
No.
lines go halfway?
No, the driveway that's on the eastern side of the applicant's property, that's owned entirely by one property owner. It doesn't go
Next
halfway.
door. Next door.
It's a property owner to the south of the applicant's property. Imagine like an upside down kind of flag with a flagpole going.
Yeah, but I'm
north.
talking about the east side of the property, the red line, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
so that neighbor, the neighbor to the east owns that.
No, there's a neighbor to the south that's outside of this map that owns that driveway.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Imagine kind of like upside down flagpole.
This just makes things.
Flag
Okay.
lot, yes.
Man.
Okay, colleagues, no more questions? Okay, may I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 25-91, please?
I move that we accept the variance without the cutback.
Can we
What do you mean?
clarify the resolution?
Yeah.
You're not moving to.
So
adopt the same
what is
resolution.
the title of the,
Are you are moving to approve the variance, so you take the alternative resolution. There's one, if you
Yes.
adopt the resolution, you take the action.
yes, thank you. I move that
If
we
you do
approve.
nothing,
Yes.
then-
No, I move that we approve the variance
Okay, sorry.
as presented. Thank you.
I'm still confused. Okay, so if,
Yes.
Okay,
okay,
so the resolution in the agenda is the resolution that will support Mr. Jackson's request to overturn the planning commission and approve the variance. If you do not approve that, then the planning commission resolution stands. Does that make sense?
Denial, yeah.
Am I making it work?
no.
Does it make sense?
It does.
Yes,
But-
yes.
so-
You know what?
It's confusing.
I know, it's just I need to ask a question, but not, not here in the open, so it's like, so, but that's okay. Let's just move forward with it and then I'll just make a decision.
Okay, I have a motion. I need a second, please.
I second it.
Madam City Clerk, may we vote, please?
What is your vote? I'm sorry? Yeah,
You want
let's
to
do,
do?
let's go ahead and do voice roll call on this one. Councilmember Crenshaw,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ellett,
Yes.
Councilmember Camarena,
I'll say no.
Councilmember Marroquin,
No,
Mayor Carter.
Yes.
Motion passes with 3 and 2 noes.
It means that he gets the variance. Correct.
Now we move on to new business. The funding authorization for fire engine purchase. This presentation is by Joseph Bernard, Fire Chief.
Hello and good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll keep this one nice and quick. So tonight I'm requesting your approval to authorize funding of up to $1.4 million from Measure P to replace a Type 1 fire engine. This would go to replace an engine that we lost back in 2023. Since that loss of the fire engine, the fire department has maintained the service to the community by rotating the remainder of our frontline fire apparatus. As you can imagine, with one engine down, it makes a little bit more of a strain and increases the demand on our existing engines. So operating with those fewer frontline engines places that strain in the fleet and reduces our redundancy, especially during high demand and simultaneous incidents. This item strictly is for the funding of the fire engine and the equipment to go along with it, which is a caveat here is when we've been approved for previous funding, we've never gotten an additional amount to cover new equipment. We've always passed down equipment that we've had from previous engines. So this is I guess the cherry on top on this request is it would allow us to modernize some of the, not only the apparatus itself, but some of the equipment that we place on that engine to service the community. Again, this is not here tonight. This is just to strictly ask for the funding authorization. We would come back to council with a purchase agreement. We're currently running through proposals and picking the best option for the community and the department. Once funding is approved, again, we will return in a following council meeting with a separate item requesting the authorization to then purchase the replacement engine. So with that being said, like I said, we've short and sweet. If you have any questions regarding, I'd be happy to answer.
Colleagues, you have any questions? Chief,
Yes.
you mentioned the loss of an engine in 23. Was that the one that was in an accident? or
Correct.
That one?
Yes.
Okay. Also, we never replaced that one.
No.
What about the one that was in an accident more recently when you were returning from a strike team?
So that one is currently in the shop getting the
Okay.
repairs right
Oh,
now.
so
And
you're two down.
we're down, yeah. The one that we lost back in 2023 was a 2008 model. We have its sister engine that's currently in frontline service. So we do have a 17-year-old fire engine operating in frontline service right now. And this would go to, efforts to modernize our fleet, go a long way. We have a 2006 that we just replaced with the brand new fire truck that's been on display at our recent events. As I mentioned, we have a 2008 in service. Our one that's being repaired right now is a 2019. We have a 2022 and then the newest 2024.
Madam Mayor, if I may say a few things just to
Yes,
clarify.
please.
So Chief, I just want to put it on record to make sure that my understanding is correct for council. One of the engines we're working right now is our reserve engine as a result of the loss of this particular engine we're looking to replace tonight. Is that correct?
Say that one more time.
In order to keep our fleet in service, we're currently utilizing what would be considered a reserve engine.
Yes.
So the purchase of this engine would allow us to place the older engine back in a reserve status as a backup.
That's correct. Yeah. So with the loss of this engine, it makes it more frequent because of issues that might arise that this older backup engine becomes more of something that we use to augment our frontline fleet.
And then something else I think that the council should probably hear from you is the service life of a fire apparatus of this nature.
So guidelines would put that we would retire out engines at the very oldest at 20 years. We are soon approaching with our 2008. As we turn over into 2026, that unit will be 18 years old. 10 to 12 years is recommended for frontline service before we put it into reserve status. And we've done, I think, a very good job in terms of maintaining our fleet. We kind of stretch our engines to the very maximum because we don't always have an opportunity like this to replace them. So we utilize them to the fullest capacity. And while these guidelines are just that, they're guidelines, we try to do our very best because they come from the National Fire Protection Association. And these guidelines are set with a lot of diligence in terms of to what the modern day fire engine consists of. It used to be something where engines were very analog. A wire from the gas pedal or the throttle would go to the throttle body to then open. Now it's such a digital. We used to be able to work on our engines and kind of stretch them as much as we possibly could. That's not the case anymore. Things break at a higher frequency because fire engines are extremely and exponentially more complex one than they used to be. So 10 years for a frontline engine, 20 years before we retired out of service. So we're fast approaching retiring the engine that we have in frontline service right now. So this would go a long way into putting that back into reserve status, holding it for another few years, and while we put a more modern contemporary engine into frontline service.
Thank you, Chief.
So Chief, that's, for this price, the 1.4, it's about 60,000 a year if we're going 20 years on it. So is the apparatus, the engine itself, but you're adding to it. So is there a way to break that up? Is it normally a 1.4? Or is it usually you can buy the apparatus for 800,000 and then you're adding the additional equipment on it?
So yes, we would be adding the additional. So generally the way we've purchased engines in the past is just, like I said, we bought the apparatus itself, and I don't want to say hand me down, but we've used, equipment that we have already. The flexibility that we have would be determined on what vendor that we go with. And in this case, you're looking at the engine purchase anywhere from 1.1 to 1.2 million dollars, and the remainder of the $200,000 to $300,000 would then go to outfit. That's not to say we utilize every penny that we're allotted. Obviously, we'd be fiscally responsible with our spending in terms of outfitting the engine, but $200,000 to $300,000 would go a long way to help outfitting it with, again, contemporary equipment.
And they will promise to fill it up before they ship it to us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll throw in a hat and a t-shirt if you want as well.
Let's get that gas in that thing.
Are you talking about filling it up with gas?
Yes.
Filling it up with.
Please don't fill it up with gas. Please fill it up with diesel.
With diesel.
Let's fill that boy up.
I mean, you know what I meant.
I'm also curious, going forward, what's the expected timeline about actually purchasing the truck if
So,
we
great
go
question.
forward? Just a
Um,
timeline.
We have a couple proposals, and they basically have identified their delivery dates within the first to second quarter of the new year. So they're currently being built. We're purchasing something that has already been designed and to some degree remains limitedly flexible in terms of customization. We're not in a position right now to, what some departments do is basically build from the ground up, because the lead times on custom builds are in excess of many years. It's actually been a big topic recently amongst fire departments nationwide. It's been brought to Washington, D.C. in terms of the monopoly right now that 3 groups who own all the fire engine manufacturers hold, and the exponential price increases that we've seen for fire apparatus, as well as long lead times, some in excess of 4 years. So it's a challenge, and buying a stock unit that has some flexibility in terms of the customization gets us something into our fire stations quicker. That's kind of the model that we've ran with for the last several years, and it's worked out very well for us.
Any other questions, colleagues?
No. I just want to say I'm glad to see this come before us. It's important that the city, when able, provides new equipment, because it's beneficial not just to the residents, but to our staff as well. And so it's an investment all the way around for our city, for our department, and employees that work with this apparatus. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The recommendation is to recommend that the full funding authorization of 1.5 million is allocated from Measure P as a purchase allies for the measure purpose of supporting major capitals need and public safety and franchise. So I'm asking for a motion and a second, please.
But let me clarify that, because it says 1.4 million, 1.4,
Yeah, 1.4 million. I'm sorry. Did I say something different?
1.5.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1.4 million.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
I'd be doing that.
We appreciate the sacrifice.
I'm still I can't even move, nothing in my computer's working.
Here, you want to move
I'm
mine?
gonna do, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do 2 votes on mine.
Is that a yes?
Yes, mine's a yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're gonna have a happy fire department.
Now we move on to the discussions and necessary actions regarding adding Chapter 16, Article 1, Section 1661 to the El Centro City Code to provide a special event business license for certain vendors associated with events. This is going to be presented by Ms. Liz, our Finance Director.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. This item before you is the first reading of an ordinance that will add a new section to the municipal code to create a special event business license. The goal here is to make it easier for vendors to participate in the city events and city permitted events, especially those that only operate for only one day for small vendors, local vendors. Okay, as you know, the city regularly hosts special events, and we also permitted events that are organized by outside groups. These events often include small or local vendors, food vendors, craft, and other small business. Under current code, those vendors generally are required to obtain an annual business license through the normal process, and even if they're only participating in a single event. For many small or occasional vendors that require a barrier, is at the council request, staff look at ways to simplify the process while still maintaining proper oversight and compliance. The result is a proposed special event business license, which provides a clear event-specific options for vendors. So this ordinance established the authority for that license, and the actual fee will be adopted separately by council through a resolution. The process that we are proposing is, so the interest vendors will apply in person. If it is a city special event, they will have to go to our community center. And if it is a city permitted special event, they will have to go to our city hall. Vendors will complete the special event business license applications. Staff will review it, and upon approval, the vendor will just pay the approved fee, and the staff will just print it and issue a special event business license valid just for the requested special event and date. In the case of food vendors, it will be required for those, even if they are just for one day, we're gonna require for them to have a TFF or a temporary food facility permit that they will have to go to the health department by the county. So I just want to emphasize with the difference between the special events and city permitted special events. Special events will be all our parks and recreation. We are the host, we organize, we manage, we operate, everything. And for the city permitted is when sometimes a third party or any other, let's say any other business, they want to host and have a market or a fair or something in their business, and they will invite other vendors to sell their merchandise over there. So in those cases, they will have to come here to the city hall, because we will have to make sure that those vendors or the owner of the business has already permitted by the community development department, the temporary use permit. So if that is, if that owner has been requested and approved for that permit, we will be then giving the permits to the vendors who wants to go and be part of that event. So those are gonna be the difference between why special events they will hold to community center, because the community center has the plans, how many vendors it will have and everything. And for the other one, we will have to double check with the community development department that those events have been permitted by the city. This is just to show you how the difference is gonna be. So in the cases for a normal business license, you will have to just fill, this is our package. So you have to go through all this and all if they need an inspection, stuff like that. So in this case, it's gonna be very simple. We're just gonna need a request, information for the person who is gonna be a vendor, wanting to be a vendor, just ID, just address, and what's the event that they want to be part of, and what kind of type of business or merchandise they're gonna be. It's gonna be a food vendor, it's gonna be a merchandise, whatever they're gonna be selling. So, and then this on the bottom, you will see this is a format that we're proposing for the special event one-day business licenses. So it's gonna show just the event, the name of the event, and the address and the date. So these vendors or these licenses, they're gonna be allowed just to sell their merchandise in the event when with the address, not in all the city, yeah. So then now the fee that we are proposing. So a total fee we're proposing is at $25. That is gonna break down into $21 for the license fee, and $4, that's a state fee. Yeah, it's a mandatory state fee. And the food vendors, they will have to have the TFF, that's with the county, but the cost of that is $75. We compare with other cities and the nearby, our neighbors, and the fee that we're proposing is very competitive. Well, it's aligned to the other ones. You see the Imperial, they have $35. And even if the vendors have a business license, an annual permit, they have to pay for their booth. It's at $25. So $25 for merchandise and $50 for food vendors. In Calexico as well, they have, even if they possess an annual business license, they have to pay, it's a registration fee, and then they will have to pay for the space. So there just is a difference. If you are a holder of an annual business license, you pay half of it, but you still pay. So the city, what we are proposing is if you have a city business license, you don't have to pay for your booth or your space. It's just have to apply. And if you are not, let's say that you just want to sell crochet or cookies, so you just go to and apply and provide the information, and you're gonna pay your $25 per event. So our recommendation is to introduce and approve an ordinance of the city of El Centro, adding the chapter 16, article 1, section 6061 to the El Centro City Code, providing for a special event for certain vendors associated with events within the city. And I'm open to questions.
Thank you. Colleagues, does anybody have questions?
I do. Liz, so what is the timeline, once they submit their application, what is the timeline for the business license to be issued? Is it right then and there on the spot?
Yes, right there in the spot.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're trying to simplify and even the time and administration. So that's why I spoke to Adriana, and we agree that if it's a city event, they're gonna go directly to community center. So that way we don't have to have them come over to City Hall, go back, print the licenses, go back. So they can do just that in place. If we still have room for them, if they apply on time, so they're gonna be able to participate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, they will have to follow all the regulations and rules for the events that we do have, but if we're gonna review their applications inside in that moment, if they have all the requirements, it's gonna be approved.
That includes the insurance, is there insurance aspects aside from this that they would have to meet for city events?
We don't request it. Yeah, they pay.
We have a motion and a second, colleagues.
I motion to approve the ordinance.
I second.
Okay, so are we okay with the fee?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So I'm gonna be back in January for the second reading and the resolution with the $25. Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Liz.
Madam City Clerk, it's still not working for,
Let's do a voice roll call.
thank you.
Councilmember Crenshaw,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Elliott,
Yes.
Councilmember Camarena, Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Carter.
Yes.
5-0.
Thank you. Now we'll have the discussion related to action regarding change order number improvements for the amount of $93,342.69. This will be presented by Adriana Nava, Community Service Director.
Hello, Honorable Council and Mayor. The item before you is for Fraser Field improvements. You may recall I was here in September where we awarded the bid, well, actually council awarded the bid to Shipley. And so as part of the improvements, if you look at this diagram, if you look at note specifically 8, it's all the dugouts. And many of you have visited this site with me, and so we've seen the condition of the fields and the dugouts. After plan review, a couple of things were called out by our building official who's here, because I did go express to him that I was worried about some of the items that were being required for the dugouts, because I'm not familiar with some of the ADA requirements. But you'll see as I go through it that some of the benches that we had spec'd out didn't have backing. It's part of ADA, back part is required for the dugouts. And then the other elements that we had included is the dugout space, we didn't have additional concrete area for a person in a wheelchair. And so it's known as a companion seat. And so that's additional concrete space that was added for each of the dugouts proposed. And so we have 8 dugouts. And in addition to that, electrical work was needed for the lighting and outlets for the new batting cages, which is on our end something we missed. And so the cost to the change order is, as mentioned by Mayor, $93,000. And our contingency that we included in the resolution was $40,000. So it exceeds what our city manager can approve. Now, in terms of budget, even with the approval, if this change order were approved, the project would still remain within budget. We had allocated $567,576, and that was a combination of Measure P and CDBG. The original contract amount with Shipley was $375,000. The change order was $93,000 and change. And so the total project cost is $468,851.69. So we still have a remaining budget of $98,724.31. So we are still within budget, and we still have a remaining balance even with the proposed change order. And so if I will wait if there are any questions from the council on the change order, I ask that you approve the change order to add these additional accommodations for ADA compliance.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just the batting cages. Do we have any other fields that have that?
No, I can't recall any fields that we have that have batting cages.
And how would we secure and maintain those? I mean, they're just, they're mechanical, and you're talking about the electrical, then,
We lock the facilities, and obviously people can still break in, but
no,
generally.
I understand. I'm just trying to, from the weather, the highs and lows, or the heat and the.
Yeah, we have protective covers usually with any type of outlet, so we do. And then they are somewhat enclosed and strategically located so that the elements don't impact them as much. I know at Central, they have batting cages.
Okay.
Other facilities in the valley do have
Right,
them.
I wasn't aware of any that were city-owned.
No, I can't think of any either.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion in a second?
I make a motion to approve as written.
I'll second.
Councilmember Crenshaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Camarena,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Elliott,
Yes.
Mayor Carter.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we move on to the bus shelter design update. This presentation is by Abraham Campos, our Public Work Director, City Engineer.
Hi, good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members again. I was told I could have 2 hours for this discussion, so I'll get started.
No,
Just
Abraham, we're
kidding.
gonna limit you to
No,
20 minutes.
it'll be very simple, option 1 or option 2. So what we,
We're ready to vote.
ready to vote?
We're ready to vote.
Just
Carry on,
to
Abraham.
bring some context, a couple of meetings ago, we got direction to explore an option. This is tied into the ICTC project where they're going to be replacing some 7 locations of bus stops, and taking that opportunity to see what we can do and see if we can go into a different direction, a different style for the city as it relates to transit. Um, Direction was stated to come back to council, and here we are today. In the interim, we did have a meeting that we're making like a working session with the mayor and councilmember Camarena to discuss some options and vision to be able to present to the full body. So after going through multiple iterations, and thank you for entertaining all the different options that were presented, we received direction to look for an option that provided darker color the lower portions. This is to help eliminate graffiti and just reduce the appearance of the city of graffiti. But we still the direction was to also include a white element to provide that modern minimalistic look, that pop, right? Also for heat purposes, if the top is white, it'll reflect heat a little bit better. So that's why we decided. We were stuck on whether to go with a rounded curb or a flat roof. We're presenting both options. We did go back to the vendor who provided these renderings of what that concept, that and direction that we received the staff would actually look like. Once we got these sketches, we went back to actually try to take advantage of new AI tools, and we were able to actually see what it would actually look like. The top is at the location at Costco. Both locations are at Costco. This is one of the very older styles that apparently is still out there by the Costco at the time of this picture, and we call it still there the way it is with that flat roof. However, when you take it out and you replace it with the new styles, on the left is option 1 and the right is option 2. So this would be more true to life of what you would see out there, and hopefully it helps you come up with a decision or provide us alternate direction. If either of these options are presented, we would be reaching out to ICTC to incorporate in their project. We did check that with the contractor or with a vendor in terms of cost, and cost-wise, they're very equivalent to what we have currently. So we don't see that it would be a huge impact on ICTC to swap them out, to go with these styles going forward. These do require a thicker slab at the bottom. The code has changed, so now instead of mounting them on your 4-inch slab, it requires a 6-inch thick slab underneath, which is not really a big impact on ICTC project because they're going to be replacing concrete anyhow, so they can accommodate at this point. Where this would come in effect is in future as we transition beyond the ICTC project and replace the shelters. This would not simply be a bolt-on as we have before. This would require some concrete work going forward on the beyond the ICTC project to be able to accommodate them and attach them properly per manufacturer recommendations. We discussed what to do with a trash can. Actually, this is a good sample here. The AI did a good job. Basically, instead of having it separate, it would be mounted and attached to the structure. We're still going back on different bench styles. It's not going to materially change the price, so we can continue discussing that. Thank you. And one of the other elements that we're looking at is a little bit of branding by creating this piece that goes on along the top where it could read the location of the stop, IV Transit logo, City of Centro logo, and so forth. The back was decided to remain as perforated vents to allow for some shade. Most people, I was noted, I think Adriana mentioned to me that when you drive by, most people stand behind the shelter as opposed to under it because just the sun, right? So it's important to have walls around it. This, of course, includes lighting and same as we have on most of the shelters right now. And ADA compliance as well will be provided as with any new shelter. So with that, do you have any questions or comments on your proposed option?
Is option one, are the trash cans mounted on that one as well?
Yes, the AI did not do a good job.
Okay, but it's like
So
that.
this is how it actually looks from the
Okay,
manufacturer.
okay, just curious, thank you.
So is the only difference between 1 and 2 the shape of the shade cover?
Mainly, option one, the shade is slightly higher. It's also slightly larger. It's about 6 inches wider. But the one on the right is about 5 feet 8 inches or so. The one on the left is 6 feet wide. The height between the higher portion on option one to the ground clearance, if you would like to say that between the roof and the floor is about 8 feet. The one on the left is a little bit less, maybe 7.5 or something like that. But in general, I mean, the main difference is the curve. Another element that was discussed is providing an opening. It adds to the slick look of it. Also, it allows more airflow in the shelter.
Abraham, would we, I know one of the suggestions given was to have an area where we could put the schedule or a
Yes.
QR code where the more savvy ones can do the QR code. Is that something that I'm missing, or we can still?
It can totally be installed still. This is very preliminary. So what we're thinking about is maybe in this this back panel that I'm pointing at, it would look like a poster board with a plexiglass where you can add a shade. A schedule. It could be mounted anywhere. That's a very easy add-on. It's just it was not provided as a manufacturer in this rendering because of the time crunch. But it would be added.
These coverings, well, the curved covering, Abraham, option one, is that like are ones that like the hospital and others that we have around that are plastic, transparent?
No, this would be solid surface.
Steel, okay, good. Some of these plastic ones that we have are starting to rot and fall apart, have little holes in them and such.
Yes, it would be a solid surface. The intent is to be painted white on the top to reflect.
Great. These, the width of these that you're showing us, are these comparable to what we have already, or are they wider?
They're about the same. They'll look wider because they don't have the triangle
Advertisement.
portion where the advertisement. That in itself will gain you more space, but overall they're comparable.
Any other questions, colleagues?
And just to make sure, I know that we were, and you touched on it, but I just want to go back, the bench style that we could still look at, an actual bench. I know that Adriana touched on ADA benches. I know it's a whole different project, program for the dugout, but we would also like to take that into consideration for our elderly and disabled population, so that they can have something to lean on, because sometimes the space between both the bench and the back is
The back
would make
frame.
them go back a lot.
Yeah, and we can discuss the bench styles. One direction that we're going is perhaps look at the new styles that Parks is using on the benches, where you see I'm not sure, like the 2 inch strips that go from the seat up, and they're just spaced together in horizontal lines. There's a very similar bench by this manufacturer that would match that new styles being used by Parks. So I think we can continue this conversation. If this is the general direction, we have enough, and where we can discuss the bench style with the working council members on the project.
Thank you. I was going to ask why these particular ones didn't have backs. Is there a reason that they don't have backs?
It
Is this
varies.
more common?
It's preference. It looks more open without a back, and because it already has that perforated fence in the back, folks, some can lean on the back, but I agree there's a gap. So we usually do not attach that back to it. It's a direction that we need to, maybe that's the direction I could get tonight if you want us to look at benches with a back, and it just looks a little bit more crowded, but it's just visual more than anything.
So what?
And tagging.
So what, excuse me, what shelters would be replaced first in our city? How would that happen?
It's so we wouldn't be in charge of that. It's ICTC through their project, and generally there's one that's going to be installed on Crookshank by Social Security. I'm going off from memory here. Apologize. So by the Social Security by target area.
These are new ones then?
If that's a
And
new
so
one.
we won't have to
We-
tear
we-
something up, we just pour the cement and, okay,
Correct.
thank you.
So there's one on Buckland Park on Ross Avenue where it's an existing bench. And so that slab would be torn and replaced with this one. There's one on Aurora, close to 8th Street by Buckland Park as well. There's actually two, one on each side of the street there. That new work by ICTC, one by the library, the one that's by Jersey Mike's would be abandoned and relocated closer to the library because it's more of a public use. I'm looking at First Street by the community center. I believe that's more of a flag stop. I'm not sure. I don't recall that it fits that one because of the location. It doesn't fit the full shelter. But there will be some improvements being done with that. I'll check with ICTC on what those are. And I believe there's the last one by Orange and Dogwood. I believe that's the last one that would be getting a shelter.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm ready to vote.
thank you. At this time, we gotta give direction to staff, so I give a motion for option one, if I can have a second. If not, if somebody has something else.
A
I'll
second
go
that.
second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
I did.
They did.
Okay, so Councilmember Crancho,
Yes.
Councilmember Camarena,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mallett,
Yes.
Mayor Carter.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
All right,
thank you.
Thank you.
Now we move on to our task force reports. At this time, we will start with Councilmember Marroquin.
So since our last meeting, I attended the Cal Cities Leadership Reception that was held at the Westin Resort in Rancho Mirage. So this was, it started with a reception in the evening. All of the leaders from, not only the Cal Cities leader of the board, but all of the division leaders from throughout the state of California were at this workshop. And so the next day, then we started work on what are the advocacy priorities for California cities for the next 2 years. And so those we'll be sharing at our first division meeting towards the end of January, where I will be installed as the president of the Cal Cities Division for 2026. So looking forward to that and something to be very, proud of. And as I'm now in my second term on the council, I think it was time for me to get a little bit more involved at the state level. So that was a very rewarding experience, and I'm glad that I was able to then network with other leaders from other cities, and so looking forward to keeping in contact with them. Also was in attendance at the Christmas tree lighting, which is always a beautiful event, and I just want to thank all of the, not only the Parks and Rec, the Community Services Division and the Public Works, because without those guys, these things, just wouldn't, happen. And so, again, congratulations on another beautiful tree lighting ceremony. The next day at the Christmas parade, I mean, oh my gosh, what a weekend, huh? It was packed with activities. And so, always proud to ride on the Parks and Rec float because, it's always, they're really good at going with the theme of the event. So so thank you for allowing me the privilege of riding with you and your staff, Adriana. So and then then the following week I was at the Imperial Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce hosted the time capsule relocation. As you recall, the time capsule that was buried at the old Chamber of Commerce, which is now at the old police station site, or the new one. And so, it's interesting that that happened during the time that I was more or less I had just left Wilson Junior High, and this is the school that spearheaded this project back in 1976. And so by the time that they did it, but it was in my, I didn't realize that it was in my sister's class, class of 1981 is the one that buried that capsule. And the teacher that spearheaded that project was one of my teachers in junior high as well. So, it was good to be there and to kind of like reminisce about when I was a kid. So, alrighty. And, the rest of my time has been tied up with medical appointments. And, we had an annual event at my church community. It's called the Embrace, where we really reach out to, to those less fortunate in the community, provide them with a meal. We spearhead a toy drive, a drive for gift cards to restaurants, to grocery stores, to department stores, for those families that are in need. And I have to say that the Parish Center at St. Mary's was packed on Saturday with families, with children, and just a time for them to celebrate the holiday season and to feel that joy, and have their children receive gifts that they could probably not afford if it were not for this event that we hold each year. So, also, proud to have been a part of that. So on that, I conclude my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Crankshaw.
I went to the Christmas tree lighting. I thought it was pretty great. It was amazing to see how many kids are still waiting for Santa. That line was huge. So, yeah, it looked like a pretty realistic Santa. So,
Oh my gosh.
oh, it was. Well, it looked like him too. So,
Oh my.
and then I went to the employee breakfast, which was another great event to be able to look at our employees and appreciate all that they've done. We have a lot of the department heads here. One great thing I've always known about great employees is they make you look good. So let's continue to appreciate them all through the year. And no, that was pretty much it. I'm enjoying my time off from the college. So doing honeydews. So that's what I got going.
Thank you. Councilmember Camarena.
The majority of events that everyone went to as well did go to the Imperial Valley Continuum of Care Committee to discuss and listen to some presentations regarding homelessness and so forth. Looking forward to a meeting with the executive director to continue to build collaboration on that and look at what federal funding we can hopefully bring to our city to be able to address some of the issues, God bless you, that we have here in our city. Also went to the Christmas tree lighting, also went to the employee breakfast, which is, I had to leave a little early, but just going along with Councilmember Crankshaw, it's really, really important to be able to appreciate, the foundation of an organization. It has to be the work environment and employees. And when you don't address that, cracks begin, and that's where the foundation begins to crumble. So we have to be able to look and be able to address things as they come up, and hopefully continue to build that strong foundation together. I was also privileged to attend the fire department's annual Christmas party. That was a great event. I want to thank the Fire Association, the fire department, for inviting us. It was very touching to see not just our firemen and the staff, but their families and their children, and there's always a family, there's always someone behind the employees. So I just wanted to thank them for that privilege to be a part of that.
Well, they wanted to get a $1.4 million gift.
And don't listen to this guy. And was also able to attend Calexico State of the City address. They made a lot of good points and progress, and I'm really happy for them. Also met with IBROP along with Mayor Carter to discuss how we can collaborate as a city, working with our former foster youth and others that are under their umbrella. And I know that our city manager will be taking the lead from there, and we're hopeful that we can assist in giving some hope to some of these individuals so that they can go on to be productive members of society with our guidance and our help. And let me see. And just doing a committee review right now. Someone will be happy. Some committees' recommendations to omit. And I just have one I want to add, but I won't share it right now. But the majority, to be able to look at our committees that we have as a city, see how productive or in use that they are, and see if they're not required by law, how they're being utilized, and if we need to continue. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Ellett.
Yes, some of the same events. Thursday, the 12th, Councilmember Camarena and I went to the State of the City in Calexico event, and it was very impressive. They have 5 new council members, and they've had to hire some very key positions, and the things that they have been able to get off the ground and moving is very impressive. So we're very happy for them. And then, of course, the Christmas tree lighting on Friday and Saturday was a Christmas parade, very encouraging, as well as the fire department Christmas party was great. And just looking across, all the fellas that were there, one of the things I mentioned was that a lot of those guys have enough experience that they could work pretty much anywhere they wanted to. They could go apply somewhere else with their experience, but they've chosen to work here in El Centro. So it was just a great thing to see and to feel feeling a part of this, the city of El Centro. I think it was very, very encouraging just to see that. And then Tuesday, the 9th, I went to the IID data center workshop, and they have actually hired a consultant. She was very, very very knowledgeable, very helpful about sorting out things for data centers. She was very helpful. I would encourage us to entertain a meeting with her as well. She's very, very helpful, very entertaining. Instructional, lots of knowledge. And then this Sunday, my wife and I were able to attend the first public Hanukkah lighting in the valley. It was at Eager Park in Imperial. And by that time, it was evening because Hanukkah starts at sundown, Sunday. By that time, this incident in Australia had already taken place. So it was in a way, a very somber thing because this horrible attack in Australia on a Hanukkah event compared to ours was obviously peaceful, enjoyable, and we are the Western Hemisphere is built on Judeo-Christian values. And so we take a firm stand against anti-Semitism anywhere. And I think that's only appropriate. And so it's just encouraging to see there, greet people, and make some new relationships there, and very significant.
Thank you. I would like to thank our staff, first of all. This is a busy time of year. You pulled it off. Kudos to you. We actually applaud you because it's a lot of work, a lot of things that are done behind the scenes that people just don't see or they don't know. So we really do appreciate every single last one of you down the line, across the board, around the corner, every single council member. We are very proud. All the council members are proud of the employees, and we appreciate everything that you guys do. And with that, I would like to say, before I forget, I would want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Please be safe. Enjoy your family. Enjoy this time of the year. I would say enjoy the cold weather, but we haven't had any of that. So, I envy some. Well, I don't envy them. I'm a desert rat. I like it here, but I do see a lot of snow in different areas, and We're just not that fortunate, so let's just enjoy our little warm weather. Yes.
Yes.
So I attended a lot of the events that my colleagues attended, so I'm gonna go into the mayor's mention. We have the El Centro, we still have events coming up, you guys. El Centro Library, Santa's Workshop, Family Night. The El Centro Public Library will host Santa Workshop Family Night this Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. Families are invited to enjoy an evening of holiday games, crafts, and activities, along with a special visit from Santa. Santa's gonna be there too. You wanna go? Okay. This free community event will take place at the El Centro Public Library and is open to all ages. The El Centro Library 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. Ooh, we're going to spend some time at the library. The El Centro Public Library is also celebrating the holiday season with the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway, taking place now through December 23rd. Each day, a holiday riddle will be posted on the library's Facebook page at 4 p.m., leading participants to a hidden book inside the library. The first 5 winners each day will receive a festive surprise. Okay. 6 and Main Market Days. Food vendors wanted. The city of El Centro is now accepting food vendor applications for the upcoming 6 and Main Market Days event on Thursday, January 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. in downtown El Centro. Food vendors interested in participating in the June 8th event must submit their application by December 19th. That's this Friday, December 19th. Additional 6 and Main market days are already scheduled for February 12th, March 12th, April 9th, May 14th, and June 11th, 2026. Vendors are welcome to apply for one or multiple events by calling 760-337-4555. We also have the CDBG Public Service Program. Call for proposals. Nonprofit organizations are invited to submit proposals for the City of El Centro's Community Development Block Grant Public Service Program. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. This federal funded program supports projects that benefit low to moderate income residents, address identified community needs, and improve overall quality of life in El Centro. The deadline to apply is January 8, 2026. Additional information is always available on our city website. At this time, I turn it over to our city manager.
You're talking about bus shelters, right?
No bus shelters. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I attended a lot of the events, not as many as I would have liked to. I had some other obligations, but I had the honor of sharing the stage with our Madam Mayor, and she's got some moves, I have to tell you. We considered doing a little skit, but I was afraid I'd fall and break my hip. So thank you for entertaining that notion. Also want to thank Mayor Carter, Council, for acknowledging the Spartan football team. I think it's a great tribute to our youth in our community.
Yes.
Not just about the Bell. The Bell's something that it's a local rivalry, but really they rose above that, and they really represented Imperial County at the CIF finals. They
Yes,
fell a
they
little
did.
short at the last game, but what an honor and what a tribute to the talent that we have here in Imperial County. So thank you for bringing them in tonight and recognizing their accomplishments. Well done by all the families that have children playing sports. You know, the kids go out there and they get on the field, but it takes the parents behind them. So I think it's a huge tribute to the family efforts that are here as well. Coaching staff, school, and so forth. I had the honor and privilege of being invited to, for the first time in many years, ever, the fire department's Christmas party. I didn't know you guys had any Christmas spirit there. But Chief and everybody, can you please thank your association? They put on a wonderful event, a family-oriented event that has some long-standing traditions, and I was very honored to be a part of that. So thank you and your association for including me in that. Really was a privilege. I didn't know you guys had any Christmas spirit up until now. So you got $1.4 million for a fire truck. I got to take a dig at the fire department a little bit. Our employee appreciation breakfast. Thank you to council and staff that donated gifts for our employees. We say it all the time that, I said it at that event. When we talk about we are El Centro, it starts with our staff. Our staff truly is what makes El Centro a great place to work and live and do commerce in. So Thank you for recognizing them. Thank you for serving the food and helping out and making that a great day. I didn't win the costume contest. I don't think I was dressed appropriately, but my 90s shirt just didn't show enough flair, I guess. I also want to highlight that our police department has moved to a new facility at 1150 Main Street from the old facility at 150 North 11th Street. The move was a little bit quicker than we thought, so my apologies to the public if the messaging wasn't out there in time. I know that we had a little bit of hiccup with that, but they are in place at the new facility, 1150 Main Street. We have our IT department here, at least a representative of the, I'm surprised you're still standing with all the walking you've been doing. And Abraham and his staff, thank you guys for all the support that you've given the police department and so forth. Beautiful facility, Chief. I know the public's waiting to see that, so in the near future, we'll look for public tours on that. A couple other upcoming events that I want to highlight. We have the Adult Center Christmas Luncheon Friday, December 19th from 12 to 3 p.m. And we have the Adult Center Holiday Concert Monday, December 22nd to round out the holidays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So some wonderful events to carry us in the holidays. And with that, I'll say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Please be safe in all your festivities and enjoy time with the family. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Can I go back? I missed one thing. I just want to say that I'm really happy about, and that I also got appointed through the Cal Cities to the Revenue and Taxation Policy Committee. So I'm looking forward to working, meeting the individuals on that committee and being able to work with them and hopefully to be able to use that as a benefit for our city.
Congratulations to you, and I was appointed to the Public Safeties. So
Congratulations.
thank you. With that being said, this meeting is adjourned, 7:56.